Over in the Middle East, Hamas says it's freed an American-Israeli hostage who was captured in the October 7th attacks. Edan Alexander has been in captivity for 584 days. It's considered a goodwill gesture towards the Trump administration as the US president prepares to visit the Middle East. He'll land there later today. Joining us now is Richard Pater, the director of BICOM, which is Britain-Israel Communications and Research Centre think tank. And we started by asking Richard his reaction to this latest development.
Thank you for having me on this evening. So I have to say there's a mixed feelings here, both personally and I think expressed by the public in general. First of all, let's be clear that every hostage that comes out now, and this is after 584 days in captivity, every hostage is welcome and is a blessing and is to be celebrated. But at the same time, people are aware that 58 hostages still remain in horrific conditions in captivity. And until there's a deal to bring everyone back home, then the country, and I say both personally as well, and nationally, are still kind of gripped by this.
We know the US president is beginning a visit to the Middle East officially tomorrow. How do you think that will go down and play out in his talks?
Well, I think we're learning. I mean, we're learning more and more about President Trump and what it means. But I think there are some patterns of behaviour that seem clear to most people here. First of all, is that he's doing this to garner the attention of the world attention, to get the adulation and recognition. The second point, like other policies that we've seen, the significance that this is a dual Israeli-American citizen coming out, is that it is a part of his American first outlook. And the third, that within line with that, as well as American first, he will also be looking to see what advantages he can gain financially for the country and for America out of deals with the Saudis, the Qataris and the Emiratis.
And do you think now with the freeing of this hostage, Trump will further push for a ceasefire in Gaza?
So there are lots of people that are hoping that's the case. We understood that the US envoy Witkoff was in Jerusalem earlier, met with the Prime Minister, and after that the Prime Minister announced that he was sending over his negotiators again back to Doha for another push. There is obviously, as people will be aware probably, this mounting pressure of an IDF military campaign on the horizon. And so that's seen as the credibility of that threat, which is they've already called up the reservists and made the plans, approved the plans of the operation. That can be prevented almost at the last minute if a hostage deal can be renewed and the sides can reach an understanding. And if anyone can, I suppose, then Trump can.
And whilst we're talking about Gaza, we've heard from Action Against Hunger, who've said that child malnutrition levels in Gaza have reached unprecedented levels. I mean, surely, world leaders will look at that and revamp their efforts to push for peace.
Absolutely. I mean, that's horrific, and the fact that the Gazans are suffering is as a direct result of Hamas and their policies, because everyone understands here that if they were only to give in the hostages, then this war could be over, and the Gazan people who have suffered so much can have that relieved. But the onus is on Hamas. Israel has approved, by the way, the Witkoff outlined the latest proposal several weeks ago. So the hope is that some more pressure can be brought to bear. And I think there's also the whole feeling of this one hostage coming out because he's American just leaves Israelis a little sunken to a degree, that it's the Americans that are able to do this and push their weight around and have the real influence over the Qataris. So if there's one, perhaps a glimmer of hope here, is the Americans can bring all the sides together, push the requisite pressure on the Israelis as well as the Hamas and the Qataris, and bring about a new deal.
Many people will be concerned, though, about Netanyahu's statement last week about the new ground offensive that's planned in Gaza, with forces planning to enter the territory and stay there for an unspecified amount of time and make the millions of people, 2 million people there, move. Do you think that Netanyahu will let up on that plan, even if more hostages are released?
So we don't know, but we do understand that this part of this preparation is to be signalling to Hamas as well. Now, I do believe this operation if there is no deal, will come about, and it will be horrific, I think, for all sides, not only for regular Palestinians, but for the fate of the hostages as well. So there's a lot of concern around that. But at the same time, if they can't do a deal, if there's no deal to be done, then it's quite clear there is a building, emerging consensus within the region, not just Israel, but amongst the more moderate and pragmatic Arab states, that there can be no rebuilding of Gaza whilst Hamas still remain in control there, and that has to be a key condition met for the day after.
Okay, Richard Pater, director of the BICOM think tank. Thanks very much for joining us on LBC News.
Thank you.